Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is GM Mayhem, and we're talking today with Magic Man from Twitter. Magic Man, how are you doing today, bud?
I'm doing well, Mayhem. How are you doing?
I was doing better before I realized that I hadn't been recording our interview, so we wasted about 20 minutes talking, and I didn't get any of it on film.
Don't worry, it happens to the best of us.
Okay, so we're going to start over. I hope this doesn't bore you too much because I know you just listened to all this crap. Um, First question: how did you get into tabletop RPGs?
I got into tabletop RPGs around seventh grade because one of my friends ran one-off adventures in the cafeteria, and I joined that group, and I found I enjoyed going through dungeons and fighting dragons.
Don't we all? Um, Now what drew you into becoming a game master?
I guess I like because I personally I like being the ringmaster of the that's what appealed to me. I like leading people. I like, narrating what goes on, what happens. I just like being in the driver's seat, so you if you will.
Okay. Now tell me, what systems do you normally run?
D&D 5th edition and Call of Cthulhu mostly. I'm trying to branch out to maybe Legend of the Five Rings. I know
Okay.
it, but I haven't had really time to look into that.
And how do you get inspiration or ideas for your games?
I look at other fantasy settings like Warhammer. I look at other stuff like Call of Cthulhu, for example. Like currently, I'm running a D&D 5e conversion of the Call of Cthulhu adventure Horror on the Orient Express for my Sunday and Friday groups.
Okay. And how's that working?
That's working really well. My players, both groups, enjoy it a lot.
Excellent. So what are some of your favorite resources or tools?
I like D&D Beyond because it helps me organize my character sheets when I play as a player. I do enjoy Hero Forge as well for my minis. Now, obviously, I don't pay for my minis. I don't do that because I'm not paying for that. I also do enjoy D&D Wiki to look up equipment and monsters, and also I like looking up at other RPGs as well to get ideas.
Okay. Uh, I like Hero Forge. I don't order minis from them, but I do download the STLs. I'll pay for those, and then, buddy, one of my players has a 3D printer, so he makes all my minis for me.
Well, you're lucky.
Well, I just bought one myself. It's not set up yet, but it's a filament printer, so I won't be able to use it for minis. It won't,
Okay.
but I could use it for terrain, even though I don't use terrain anymore.
Mhm.
Now, what's your philosophy on fudging dice rolls?
I think when it comes to fudging, you should try to fudge as little as possible and only when absolutely necessary. Like if half the party's like knocked unconscious from your monster, I would recommend to fudge. Now, personally, I used to fudge earlier when I was a DM, but I'm trying to like go clean and fudge like a little fudge less, and I have gotten better.
Okay,
So I'm fudging a lot less now. So because I feel more, I need to let the dice tell the story, not me tell the story.
right. But how do you handle character death
Like as a game master or as a player.
as a GM?
As a GM, I do tell my players like that there's always a chance you can die in combat, and that you shouldn't. That you gotta learn to just accept and move on. Because it's just there's always that risk, and sometimes the cosmic dice roll natural 20s against your character to die, so you just gotta accept that.
So, how do you handle TPKs, or have you ever had one?
I never had a TPK actually, but I did have one in my Shadow of the Dragon Alliance Dragon Queen campaign. The entire party got knocked unconscious because they did not do a good job organizing their attacks against the enemies. Also, it was like a low level encounter, and D&D books are known for having really badly balanced low level encounters. And also, it didn't help. I was rolling really high. I think it wasn't during Friday the 13th, so maybe that's why I they got the party got screwed.
It happens.
Mhm.
Most of the time, I roll like Will Wheaton, lot of 10 and less, and my players love it. But every
Yeah,
now and then, I'll get on a hot streak and I'll start rolling 20s all night long.
Yeah, I had a hot streak Thursday for my Horror on the Orient Express D&D group.
Um, do you have a specific GM style or philosophy?
I would say for my philosophy that you gotta try to be flexible with the rules. Like you should try to follow the rules, but also bend the rules how you see fit. Because going rules as written is a little too rigid in my perspective. For my play style, I favor like more pulp action games, like high action, high adventure, good like fast and brutal combat, and like the players being able to having a good chance of beating the bad guys and winning. Now they won't always win, but or not without cost, but there's always that chance they can push back the apocalypse, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that brings us to a question from one of the Twitter followers, at Adventure's Son. Is if the rules don't define how to do something, does that mean it cannot be done, or are you just going to make a decision based on your interpretation of the rules?
I would say option two because I want my players to have fun and use their creativity. So in my Friday group of the Orient Express group, one of my players is a wizard and he's like really obsessed with getting as many spells as he can. So how he ruled it every time he goes to a magical store to get spells, he spends gold and rolls an Arcana check to see if he learns the spell he wants. If he fails the roll, then he doesn't get the spell, but if he succeeds, he gets the spell.
Okay. Now, what rules do you tend to ignore or change?
I changed the encumbrance rule because I don't really I actually don't use encumbrance because I think it's just really too burdensome and bulky. Also, I'm not a huge fan of like coin encumbrance. That like encumbrance is the main one I don't really like. Also, for what D4 damaging weapons like daggers and like slings, I
Mhm.
boost that to 2d4 because in my opinion having a
Mm,
D4 dagger is just 1d4 is just laughably weak. I'm like, why would you use this? You know? Like 2d4 plus your modifier is a bit more consistent, better damage overall.
yeah,
I mean, it does apply to my bad guys as well. So their daggers do 2d4, the players is 2d4 plus their modifiers.
I mean that's only fair.
Hmm.
So that's one
Yeah.
of that's one of your house rules is the 2d4 for low damage weapons. Do you have any other house rules?
Um, not really.
Okay. So have you ever run published adventure modules, and how do you like them versus homebrew?
Um, I do. I used to homebrew earlier, but I stopped homebrewing because I feel like homebrewing is a little too like intensive because I have work outside my games. So I run pre-made modules, but I have been like converting non-D&D ones into D&D. Like my Call of Cthulhu Horror on the Orient Express campaign is I'm converting the Call of Cthulhu rules into D&D 5th edition rules. It's not like conventional homebrew, but it's the closest I get to a true homebrew campaign in my opinion.
Okay. Not everybody homebrews, not everybody runs published. It's
Yeah.
all a matter of choice. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, and also as long as your players like it, then it's fine.
Exactly. Now, what's one piece of GM advice you wish you knew when you first started?
To be, I guess a little bit like just kind of embrace the chaos more because as a GM, I was really concerned about what things were going to happen when the players rolled. But now I feel more comfortable with the chaos because I learned as a game master, you should not work against the chaos the party causes. You got to work with the chaos the party causes, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah,
And I kind of just got to like roll with the punches as the chaos keeps going, because I see a lot of game masters get really like frustrated and upset that their plans didn't go their way because this one player casted a reaction spell and caused chaos. And I'm like, you just kind of have to accept things are not going to go to plan.
brings up another question for you. How much time do you spend prepping versus how much do you just wing it or improvise?
I do fly by the seat of my pants more. I do prep. I do about like 10 to 15 minutes of prep, and I do fly by the seat of my pants for the most part because I try to get like the basic idea of the plot for that area, that part of that adventure, and then I try to like take that and take into so that way I have a space to like bend it so when the players do chaotic things, I can adjust to it.
Okay. We got about a minute left before Zoom cuts us off because it has a limit of 40 minutes for the unpaid version, and I'm too poor to pay for it.
That's understand. I understand.
So my final question for you is, what advice would you give to a new GM or DM just starting?
I would say advice: be willing to express your unorthodox ideas for your settings. Because some people are gonna like it, some may not like it. You just gotta just try it. Just be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to try something new.
Excellent. All right, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Magic Man. I will have your links in the description. Yeah. So I'll have all that in the description so you guys can check him out and check out what his content. All right. I will see you guys next time.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed the content, please like and comment, tell me what you thought. If you want to help me out, consider joining my Patreon using the link in the description. Patrons can enjoy my videos before they are released on YouTube. You can also download articles on TTRPG subjects that I have written, and I'll be posting chapters of my upcoming book, The Game Master's Guide to Crafting Legendary Worlds. Thank you again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to make sure you never miss out.